No. Yeah, all the tops of the 70, 80 foot trees blew off and landed in my yard.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Porter Town Council. Please rise and follow me reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brent, can we have the roll call, please?
Forts, Laura Madigan. Here. John Kraft.
Here.
James Birch.
Here.
Bill Lopez.
Here.
Kelly Kierman. Here.
All right, we move on to approval of the minutes of our July 28th meeting. I look for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any question regarding the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Move on to consideration of claims and sewer adjustments.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion to
I'll
approve
second.
and a second. Any questions regarding the claims and sewer adjustments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving along. Petitions and comments from the floor. If there's somebody here in the audience like to bring something forth to the council, please step up to the lectern, state your name and address for the record, and tell us what's on your mind.
Hi, my name is John Bell. I'm a resident of Chesterton. I grew up in Porter. I have 3 businesses located on Woodlawn Avenue, half of them in Chesterton and half of them in Porter. I'm here to give a little comment on the ordinance proposed restricting semi-truck traffic on through town. A while back, I spoke with Mike and Bill and I believe Laura about this. I'm sorry I'm here at the last minute, but since I don't get a newspaper on my doorstep anymore, some stuff falls through the cracks. I apologize. As I stated last time, first of all, also, I want to give kudos to the first responders and the street commission for getting everybody through that little episode we had. It was rough on everybody. So thank you guys for doing that. That was good stuff. I'll carry on. So when I spoke with Laura and Bill and Mike, what was this, probably 6 months ago, maybe 8?
I think about 2 years, Jack.
Two-
Yeah, it's been, right. Sorry, I've been
That's okay, but-
grinding for quite some time. Anyways, as I stated back then, and I'm going to repeat my compelling arguments here. I think I would hope that the board will consider this in a pragmatic and logical way. I did read the comprehensive plan, and I do understand that, you know, we want to dress up downtown Porter, all 2 blocks of it. And I know there's 3 or 4, but, you know, it's, again, I said I've lived here my whole life. There hasn't been a lot that has changed down this. I've seen other comprehensive plans come and go, probably the one before the 2023 comprehensive plan. I also want to add, and I know this doesn't mean a lot, but I just want to say my dad, I do take heart to Porter and what goes on. My dad, maybe you don't know, served over 30 years on the BZA in the Plan Commission, and I sat through a lot of dinners, you know, talking about this stuff with him before as he would prep to come to meetings. So I know what goes on, and I know what this town does mean to everybody, including me. But this change is really going to affect my business financially. I've crunched numbers. I can share them with you if you like. Before I get to that, I really think there's a logical approach to this. The truck traffic that's generated from my businesses, okay? Most of the guys that come from Chicago are coming around to the 49 in Indian Boundary. That's fine and dandy for them. They've got that figured into their rates. Myself have been, in my business, in my trucks, have been using this mileage and truck route for years, and my rates are based on that. And, every day my trucks head west. They don't head east. Okay. And we're only talking 10 to 16 trucks of mine per day. We generate on average at our business here, I'm going to say outbound trucks other than mine on an average day, 15 trucks. On a busy day, we'll get 20. And again, most of them come through the other way. I know this decision won't affect them. It's going to affect me the most in our business. I'd like to think that I've done a lot with the town of Porter in the past. I think Brian will attest, and Street, we our family, we've tried to help any way we can and always want to. That's, part of being in a community. So my logical explanation of this is my business hours are from 3 to 6 or 6 to 3. The businesses that are on Lincoln Street operate pretty much after those hours. I know the bars, we have 2 bars, a bank, a union hall, a Mexican restaurant, the law offices, and K-Clean. Those are the businesses. And if something goes into the violin shop, I'm sorry, I forgot the tattoo parlor too. So their hours of operation are really after we finish. We don't have weekend hours. Okay, so my trucks aren't running up and down on the weekends. Every night, you can't say never. Every night we have emergencies, and I'll service my customers on an emergency basis. But the biggest, my biggest claim, I guess, really is, first of all, I'll address all this because I've heard safety is an issue. Okay. Trucks on Lincoln Street, 2 trucks can pass as long as they stay on their side of the double yellow line. They really can. I'm a semi driver. I see other semi, we pass, we wave to each other. Yes, if there's a truck with a ladder hanging on the south side, we may have to wait and take our turn, but that's no different than the cars. But I'll say this, when there aren't, and there is a full width for 2 trucks to pass, 90% of the time you'll see cars just pull off and they don't even want to try, which I always say, well, that's kind of weird. I gave them all kinds of room. So I don't really know if the safety issue. I get people in bars don't want to, and I won't say that either. The perspective is the patrons at the bars don't want to see the trucks. I'd say every time I go by driving, I see my buddies and they're all waving, and nobody has ever said anything to me about, hey, get your trucks off the road. The one thing I do want to ask is, has there been a accident history study regarding trucks on Lincoln? Because I have lived here forever, and none of my trucks have ever been, and I can only think of one contractor that delivered to our place that rear-ended somebody. It was so long ago, Tom Link was still on the barber shop. Sorry. I don't know where the board is on this. I guess you might vote. I really hope that you might table it for more discussion and think about how this impacts. I'm going to give the numbers. Every time I run a truck to 49 to go get on 94, I'm adding 8 hours per truck, 8 miles per truck and 15 minutes per driver. That is the equivalent of $39.74 per truck per trip. That's in or out, then in. So it's every time I have to send a truck that way as opposed to going that way, because we never head east in the mornings. We're always going west. That's just what it is. So when you multiply that times how many trucks per day and how many working days per year, it's to the tune of about $105,000 to $165,000 a year. That's an impact that will affect our business directly. there is not that kind of money, wiggle room in trucking rates. I don't know if anybody, there just isn't. I can't go to my customers and say, hey, Town of Porter changed truck route. I'm going to add another $30 on your, they're going to go find another carrier and say, hey, John, you know how it is. So there is an economic impact that really, not just economically, we service the mills, for instance, the time, and again, I've allowed time, I've already figured my time, but it's the, or in cost, but it's the operations. Our trucks can do a trip into Burns Harbor and back in an hour and 15 minutes. Now it's going to be an hour and 45 minutes. And that adds a lot to your operation. It really kind of throws a monkey wrench in. All I'm asking is that the town consider, I think our business, our family has conducted a good business. We try to be good neighbors. I want to say this, every time I hire a driver for my driver, I plain and simple say, hey, this is my neighborhood. I grew up 5 blocks over there. Everybody in this town is my neighbor. Act like, when you drive through this town, act like they're your neighbors too. And I really think most of my guys do. The practical and logical thing that keeps, I stated the monetary economic impact that this will have on us. But to me, I always look at things logically and from a practical standpoint. And again, we have, I'm going to say really 3 businesses. We have the Village, the Whistle Stop, and the bank that are primarily the busy businesses during the day. I went by today at noon at the Village. I went by at 3 and I just came by. It's packed now. At noon, there are probably about 8 cars in front of it. And then at 3 o'clock, maybe 15, but plenty of open parking spaces. Again, by then, my trucks are home and off the road. So I did read the comprehensive plan, and I see that, part of it in section 6 says to phase out unwanted industrial properties. I hope I don't fall into that category. I think that our tax base and us being, I know our warehouses over there on that side of the tracks aren't pretty buildings, but I don't think they're ugly. And I do think I try to be a good neighbor. We try to pick up. Over the last couple of years, things were a little rough because we were going through some stuff, but that's over. I take pride in our operation. I want to be a good neighbor, and I want to continue to do so. The comprehensive plan, I do understand. I did see, again, a long time ago, my dad was still alive, so that was over 16 years ago. I did see the comprehensive plan prior to that, and that one went by the wayside. I'm not saying, hey, I'm not hopeful, but I think, pardon me saying, do you remember the phrase I said, Jennifer, 2 years ago, or Bill, or I'm sorry, Laura and Bill, and I hope no one gets offended by this, but when you say you can't put lipstick on a pig, Porter is no pig, but our downtown is what it is. It was developed to bring, because of the tracks, because of the industry, and that's why it's here. I mean, I think, the original Porter was out by 49 and 20, and they moved it here because of the commerce, because of the trains. So I'd like to think that I'm a viable business that deserves and maybe, at least maybe some consideration in this matter. I also have an alternative that I've spoken with Mike before. I don't know if you know, we own the piece of property right across from downtown. I think that could be a solution if the board would consider talking about that as well. That piece of property, I don't know if you know, it's got, and that could be the truck route to get it off of Lincoln. Go straight across the tracks on Wagner, left down through that property. That's a unique piece of property. It's got, well, it was the old train depot station. So the water tower stanchions are still there. I have excavated at one time when my dad and I were clearing that the foundation for the old depot is there, and it's old limestone, cut limestone block foundation. It's kind of cool, and I always thought, man, that'd be a great excavate that out and make a park setting here, and what a great place for the people to watch trains. Those are just some thoughts. I don't know what else I have to say. I'll look at my notes, but I think I pretty much, again, I think I'm trying to look at this from a practical, logical thing. Again, more revolving around hours of operation and the amount of traffic that we generate, and when we do, and when we don't. As I said, the economic impact is there for me. You heard the numbers. Look, and that's at diesel fuel at $5.40 a gallon, not $9, which I hope we never see, but I've heard people talk about that.
I think you lock the doors when it goes to that.
When it goes to that, yeah, I might, yeah. But anyways, thanks for your consideration and time. I would like to see this get tabled at least for more discussion. I don't know I know this, in my opinion, I don't think that the 3 or 4 businesses along Lincoln that I don't know if they will gain $105,000 to $165,000 a year in revenue, or you know what I mean? I don't think that will get offset. That being said, I think that's all I have to say, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, John, for coming and expressing your opinion on this. We've given it a lot of thought. We've had discussions independently amongst us. I know we met several years ago about it, and there's a lot of factors, and it's just, I know your family's been settled in the town a long time with this. Times are changing. I think one of the big things I see is it's not just the truck traffic, it's the truck traffic combined with the train traffic. There's a lot more trains go through town now, which combined with the trucks and the trains, it creates that's one of the safety issues that I'm referring to. So, but there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of thought.
Have we done studies on truck-related accidents and car
Oh,
accidents?
I'm not disputing
I'm just
the
wondering
accidents.
if,
I'm just, we create a bigger traffic jam in town here when there's a train and a truck coming,
Okay,
so,
all right. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have a comment?
I was gonna wait until we got down to it at the agenda, like when we get down to it, then that's my point. Because I definitely have comments, but
All right, is there anybody else like to bring something forth to the council? Hearing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting, move on to reports. Clerk Treasurer.
All right, so first, I know I talked to a couple of the council members about the possibility of this already, but I would like to ask the council to consider a one-time payment extension for our residents and businesses in town for their sewer bills due to last week's storms. There were a lot of people that didn't have power, they were trapped in their homes, they were, didn't have phones, laptops, devices, whatever, internet access, right? To be able to pay their bills. So if you're willing to do that, I would ask that we give residents until Friday, the 21st, to pay before late penalties are assessed.
I can deal with that. I look for a motion to approve, Corinne extending it till the 21st.
I'll second.
The motion is second. Any questions for Corinne regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Late penalties extended.
Thank you. Hold on, let me finish writing. Sorry. Okay. Second, we do have also a resolution that was sent to all of you earlier. I apologize, it came late. There were some last minute revisions, but this would be for the council to extend the emergency disaster or the local disaster emergency declaration. So if you are so willing, I would ask that the council makes a motion to add that to new business. And then when we get to new business, we can consider that resolution. And that's going to be resolution number 2026-04.
I'll make a motion to add that to new business, please.
Okay, we have motion. Do I have a second? Okay, we're adding the declaration of disaster to the new business. All in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Corinne, on that.
Okay. And then I would also like to make note that we're planning, for those of you that didn't have the pleasure of attending our first budget planning workshop, our budget adoption hearing is going to be scheduled for September 22nd and budget adoption on October 13th. And lastly, I just want to give a couple thank yous to our residents, to our staff members, to our council members, to everybody that jumped into action last week after the storms. I mean, it was great, really seeing everybody work together. My staff, that showed up and they didn't have power and, they had to come here and make their food. I mean, everybody struggled in one way or another. So just thank you to everybody. And I'd also, in relation to that, like to make one final reminder for people to sign up for Savvy Citizen. We are pushing out notifications directly to residents, and we're also updating our website. But if you sign up for that, you're going to get it directly to your email, your text message on your smartphone, your app, whatever your choice is. So please sign up. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Attorney, Jack, you got anything? No.
Yeah, there's no attorney report at this time.
All right, thank you. Police Department, Chief Dickey.
Yes, sir. I've got a couple things. First is a 5K permit. Everything's in order. It is the Field Station Frenzy 5K trail run and walk. The host is the Field Station Cooperative Preschool, and the date of the event is October 4th, 2026. Looking for council permission for approval for that permit.
October 4th.
October 4th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for the Field Stations Frenzy on October 4th.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any questions for Chief regarding it? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. They're good to go on that.
Thank you. The next thing, and I'm sure everybody's going to say it, but it should be stated. I'll echo what Corinne stated about just the acknowledgement for the town coming together for the storm. That was quite an incident. Almost every single one of our officers came out. One of them worked upwards of 16 hours, something like that. So just yet another example of how this town comes together and works together. The next thing is a list of thank yous regarding the cookout with the fire department this year. It was a good turnout. Not the least of which a thank you to Lake County Aviation for swooping in, no pun intended, and saving the day. Getting a helicopter there is very, very tricky. We had UCAN lined up, and they were right over Gary, and we watched them do a U-turn on the radar, and they had to go back to Chicago. So Lake County Aviation came through, landed, and it was a good time. Some of the donations we got was Kyle from K Clean Systems here in Porter was $1,000. Landcam out of Chesterton donated a golf cart for the day that came in use. Came in handy there. State Park Little League donated the food, so if you had any of the hot dogs, those were phenomenal. That was theirs. And also Sergeant Kevin Respierski and Austin with the fire department for planning and organizing this whole thing. And lastly, the Respierski family. They've done this every year where pretty much their whole clan's out there and cooking and serving food for everybody. So with that, that's all I have, and just appreciation to all those that contributed.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, it turned out to be a nice event. A good turnout.
One question over the last, nothing to do with the storm stuff or anything, but I've had different people ask on all the new police cars, the insignias on the doors that we used to have, that most of them now don't have it, and everybody's like, where did all our police cars go?
Yeah, it's bugging me too. That's something we're working on. The old ones that were black and white and yellow, they were getting, maybe from afar they didn't look bad, but up close they were getting pretty chewed up. They were starting to peel off, and when an officer walks past it, hits it with the duty belt or whatnot, it starts to make little scrapes and everything. That, in addition to, we're looking at a new decal design. I've been working with the liaison on that as well. It's just we keep having one thing pop up right after another. So it is in the works, and you're not the first person that I've heard that from, so I do understand that, but we are working on it.
Good. Yeah, different comments or everything from just the civic pride, just want to see, our guys out there and see the guys going by. Others are, I've had some women say that, if they can't identify it's actually a real police car,
Sure.
they're talking about how they would be hesitant to stop if the lights are on because are they real or not?
Sure.
Those types of concerns. So, yeah, when those are done, I think there'll be a lot of people be like,
Understood.
that'd be great. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Chief? No, hearing none. We'll move on.
Yes.
Fire Department, Chief Craig.
Good evening, everyone. Quick recap of July I have here. We did 125 responses in July, which is a new record month, which I'm sure this month will be. Our previous record was 119, it was 24. We are currently at 593 calls for the year, on pace to be over 1,000, which will be another record year. That 125, the interesting part is, it hasn't really been a beach summer. So that's with what I have logged here as 4 beach responses out of the 125 calls. So can't imagine what the month would have been like with a beach summer. Our 4th of July was pretty laid back in comparison to what it normally is because, again, weather was not the greatest. Out of those calls, 64 of them were in the afternoons, 42 were days, 18 were nights. We did run several mutual aid. I don't know why it doesn't have the breakdown. 83 were in Porter, 10 were in Westchester Township. June Acres had 4. And the rest were mutual aid to our surrounding partners. And I think that's all I have for July's update. Again, echo what Chief said for the safety day that we held to our organizers, Kevin and Austin, for all the time they put in. I know they're beating their heads against the wall trying to get that all perfect. And they did a really good job. So it was a really nice event. My people had fun. And shout out to Lake County for, flying in and saving that day. Just a quick recap on the storm. Again, thank you to everybody in our amazing little town that have done a phenomenal job and just even tracking our residents and their overall demeanor through this all. They all stayed positive. Nobody was losing it like I've seen in some other areas. So shout out to them. We received quite a few drop-offs at the fire station for food, along with some local businesses. We got 2 loads of ribs from Wagner's 2 days in a row that hit the spot. And there's some other residents that had dropped off food periodically, and along with several firefighters and their significant others that were feeding everybody. During that time, during the last week, so Tuesday to today, or Tuesday to Sunday, I'm sorry, we ran 75 responses. That's a rough count. We're still digging ourselves through piles of paperwork and fire reports. I'll hopefully have a more detailed presentation for all of that at the next meeting. Our busiest day was 21 in a day. I want to make a huge shout out to Captain Joey Belisle, Lieutenant George Vargas, and firefighter Mariah Towner, who starting on Tuesday until Saturday all worked 16 plus hour shifts at the station as volunteers. That was along with our crews that we had on staff for the 8-hour shifts through the day. And then I had an additional 3 volunteers minimum the entire week, starting at 8 in the morning till 10, 11 at night. Most nights, I think we got out of there at 10 o'clock one night. Some nights we were there till after 2 a.m. and started again at 5 a.m. But those 3 did that Tuesday through Saturday, and the only reason the 3 of them were not there Sunday is 2 of them had to go to work. So big shout out to those two. I'll probably have more once I can put everybody's hours together. Cause it wasn't just the three of them that were down there. It was very well turnout, from the volunteers at staff station during that time. So, they were hard chargers. They took care of things. So I appreciate that. We were out the day of the storm trying to assist cutting trees and stuff, but we were pulled away a lot for other emergencies and to be honest, the street department had most of what we could do done already by the time we made it to the area of what we could do with chainsaws, because that's all we had to do stuff with, so. I think that is all I have, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Public Works Department.
I got a couple things. And again, kudos to everybody in town, all the departments working together. Our guys from the night of the storm until Sunday night were working 24 hours a day. We split them into 2 shifts. Sunday night, we got everything under control finally. We were playing whack-a-mole because not only was every lift station down, including the one that got totaled, but we didn't get the alerts to tell us which ones were in the major danger. So it was, again, like whack-a-mole, going around to all of them, trying to see which ones needed service first. And, you know, they all did a good job. We're 12 hours now, started Monday afternoon, removing debris and stuff, and it's gonna be a long time before we get everybody. I've been telling everybody, we're gonna go all through town and we're gonna continue till it's all done. And kudos to the police, because we had a lot of problems. This time, we only had one road really that residents were blocked, and that one got taken care of fairly quickly. But we had a lot of roads in town that had a tree in the middle of them. So it was an inconvenience, but nobody was kept away from their houses. Currently, the only ones that are left are Lincoln and Sexton Street. There's a big one there. And then Old Porter, Oak Hill. Again, I told you, I get those two, I flip them all the time, but about a mile, 3/4 of a mile from 12 going west, that's still closed. It is barely passable if an emergency truck or a fire truck has to get down there, but there's all kinds of trees in the wires along there. And I want to give a special thought or shout out to the police, because they thought of getting the poll numbers for NIPSCO, and that is invaluable to them. It tells them what kind of pole they need, what the equipment is on the pole before they get out there, and then have to call in and order the right parts. So that definitely saves some time, and somebody was thinking real good over there for that one. The last thing I got really is the amount of overtime the guys have worked. I had a few of them ask, both for their benefit and the towns, if the council would consider for the next 2 payroll checks, which we should be mostly out of the overtime by then, is waiving the cap on how much comp time or ETO they can get. And, you know, let them, the guys who want the time, get the time. And then when it's subtracted, when they use it, it can go down. But if they get any more after that, it has to be paid out until they reach back to 40. You know, I got some guys that value that way more than money. And then I got other guys that are saying they'll do whatever, you know, for the town. So that's my ask for the comp and ETO.
So Corinne and I did discuss that, and our question comes up is that, you know, we're trying to put a price tag on all this extra expenditures to the town. And if in the event we give them comp time and PTO, then it's not going to show as a payout. So are we going to, if, and this is a big if we're going to even be reimbursed.
Oh, they're not gonna, yeah, they
So
might
then-
not reimburse the money, but it did cost the town that time lost.
But it has to do with how it's reported. And so
Yeah.
I think it's something, I don't know if we could look into it or.
I mean, that was my only question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a
I've
good
never
question, yeah.
Dealt with, you know.
Now,
filling out
on
those
that
kind of
note,
documents for FEMA aid or whatnot, so I I really have no idea.
On that note, I was told possibly you've got to contact somebody, a FEMA coordinator maybe?
Through Merritt Van's
Could-
office.
Could,
Yeah.
could that be maybe the first question we ask? Because it would be good for us. Our overtime budget was pretty close to being in the hole before this.
Yeah.
So, now it's really gonna take a bite out of it. And if we get all this cleaned up, and I'm just wishful thinking here, in a month, we should have a short time where the guys can take some time off before we start the heavy leaf season for leaf pickup. So, I mean, it would be advantageous if we're not gonna lose the money. Now, we really wouldn't lose the money, we'd lose the time, away from work if we didn't get the money, but,
Right.
if that could be the first question, then, maybe if the council could approve it,
Pending.
that they
Pending that
said,
decision.
the
I would like
coordinator
that.
said,
So I would say I would
Okay.
ask for a motion to approve adding the additional comp time, provided it doesn't interfere with us trying to recuperate. I don't know what the council thinks on that.
I'm good with
How
that.
much, well, my first question was how you wanted to extend it by just
the next two
for,
pay periods.
just for the next two pay periods, just whatever it is. So just remove the max for the next, remove the cap for the next two pay periods. And is the council considering to do that for Public Works Department only, or would that include other
Parks,
departments?
Who helped Public
Because we
Works?
had, yeah,
Right.
because we had our Parks Department out there
Yeah.
working overtime. I know that our police department put in a lot of
Yeah.
overtime. I don't know if that's something that they want to also try and extend.
Yeah, I have no problem if everybody wants to do it, it'd be good, and when you brought that up, I forgot one thing, I was trying to do all this from my mind, but when we're playing whack-a-mole,
Yeah.
if every lift station goes down,
Yeah,
we do not have enough employees
I know.
to even man 2 crews. So if it wasn't for Brian and the parks,
Mhm.
we would have had we would be listing incidents and not
That's right.
close calls. So,
Thank you,
really
Brian,
like
Joe,
to-
and Angel.
Yes, most certainly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So
So
would that
I'm-
be town-wide then for all of the departments?
I think you'd have to make.
And it
would
would just,
have
and
to.
it wouldn't be number specific, it would just be to remove the cap over the next 2 weeks or from,
Next
Two pay
from,
periods,
for
4
the,
weeks.
for those two pay periods, for the
Yeah.
total amount. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So the pay period that we're in right now ends the 22nd.
Ends the
And then it starts a
22nd.
new one. So
And the
You
storm
want-
was on the 11th.
One more then.
So that would include, so that pay period, the pay period that we're in currently
Would go
includes
through
the
the
first
5th?
day of the storm, right?
yeah, it started August 9th. So from the pay
Okay, yep.
period, August 9th through the 22nd, and August 23rd through September 5th.
Yeah,
Okay. Those are the two pay periods. Got
And
it.
we want to remove the cap for ETO and comp time altogether, right? Temporarily remove it.
temporarily, and then after that date,
After
it would be
September
back
5th.
in effect
40.
that you're limited to 40, but you couldn't add more until you got down below 40 again.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'd just be a
Right, it's a
temporary,
one-time deal where you'll be able to
Yeah.
add additional time.
I'm good with that.
Mhm.
Pending.
Yeah, and
Pending.
I'm not positive that it's in the town's best. Never mind. I would, yeah, pending the discussion with the FEMA coordinator that hopefully will happen tomorrow, but should definitely happen this week.
yeah, before payroll, either way.
But it'll happen before payroll either way. And we don't know what to expect from that conversation, so we'll trust the discretion of our clerk treasurer, our council president and vice president to make the final decision on that based on that conversation.
Okay.
I mean, right, because we won't have another meeting, and I doubt it'll be a simple yes or no.
Yeah, our
will need
next
to-
meeting
You
will
will
be
need to weigh
Tuesday.
pros and cons and deliberate, so I would say to trust it, that decision to be made by the three of you. I guess I'm making a motion. That's what it sounds like I'm doing right now,
That's the-
okay.
That's the whole motion. All motion is to approve the additional comp time PTO for
Yeah.
those two
Lift
pay
the cap.
periods. Pending the decision from the three of us on what we learned from the FEMA coordinator
Yes.
or
Yep. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I like
Thank
that.
you very much, and I,
Okay.
That was your motion.
That's my
Do
motion,
we have
yeah.
a second?
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion, second. Any questions for anybody regarding the motion? All in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much for considering that.
I totally agree with it.
And I get it.
It's the only-
I didn't think of
That's the
that.
only, objection
The
I have to it is that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Is
That's
that it?
all I got.
That's all you got? Okay, let's move on to Park Department. Brian.
I'm not gonna thank you. I say, thank you very much, to my small but mighty park staff for jumping in full-fledged, and we gave them the call and they both showed up and haven't stopped showing up yet. So thank you to Joe and Angel. They've done a great job backing up Public Works. So I can't say enough about it. That said, parks are in a little rough shape looking wise right now, but we'll get back to it. I just can't get on a mower yet.
You got some good help out there today, though, didn't you? From,
We did, and that was going to be one of my other thank yous. Was thank you to Laborers Local 81 and also Open Bible Church in Chesterton. In about 3 hours today, we knocked out about half of the trees that were down at Hawthorne Park. So they were all volunteers. They did a great job. I've got a list of names. I just haven't had a chance to go through them yet. So I will make sure that they all get thanked individually, but they were out there. And then Local 81's talking about coming back out later this week to help with the rest of our trees. So
Great.
that will be a huge help. I think that might be it. Oh, yeah, I've got other stuff later on down the line on the agenda.
Thank you, Brian. All
Roy Campbell and his group.
Yep.
right, Building Commissioner, Director of Development, Michael Berry.
Got the list of contractors for approval that paid their fees, met our requirements for starters.
Yeah, what was it, 9?
9, I think.
9. I look for a motion to approve the 9 new contractors.
So moved.
A motion to have second.
I'll second.
Any question for Michael regarding the contractors? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Special thanks to Andy Hyman for all the help he did when he was with the his fire crew. But he was on Dune Meadows Drive, and there was a bunch of people that had generators running in their garages. So he went door to door to make sure that they got their generators out of the garages before they killed themselves. And his wife bought a cord for one of them to extend that out. But it's been a lot of time, dealing with that kind of stuff. So I appreciate Andy doing all that. That's, I think that's all I got for right now.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, move on to old business. Ordinance 2026-11, ordinance that amending chapter 66, article 4, or article 6 of the Portertown Code restricts semi-traffic on Lincoln Street. Whereas the town of Porter, Indiana, as a municipal corporation under laws of the state of Indiana, possesses home rule authority under IC 36-1-3 to regulate matters affecting health, safety, and welfare of its residents. This is the second reading. I look for a motion to take action on it.
I have a couple of comments. Thank you, Mr. Bell, for still being here. When we met a couple of years ago to talk about this and you offered an alternative truck route option, I left my notes at home, although I did review them last week. Forgive me if I'm not quoting them word for word, but generally speaking, right? It was like, oh man, give me 6 months to a year. My wife has these plans for maybe a restaurant. We'll do this and that with the train watching, etc. I'll develop that road, and then that can be the alternative route instead of Lincoln Street. Mm-hmm. All right, man, like we're not champing at the bit. All right, 6 months to a year, and that was 2 years ago, right? And So that was the reason that I did not object to moving forward this year, first of all, right? And I hear what you're saying about the safety concerns, but there's also the cost of the weight on the streets and repaving those streets and moving forward with our downtown master plan that has been, as you aptly pointed out, kind of stagnant for a long time, right? This council came in really even before this current council, previous term. Like, this is something that we are freshly prioritizing and need to move forward on in the spirit of improving economic development downtown. And some of that construction cannot start until we've cleared the semis from our downtown space. Now, granted, that conversation happened before SCA 1, and so now it looks like that money for those projects is not going to be available the way we hoped it would be 2 years ago. But we're still not giving up on that plan and still need to move forward. Our council president, our vice president, and director of development, if you guys had a conversation about this again, it would be with them and not me this time. If they're interested in having another conversation, I'm happy to table it until next week so that everybody can meet and have a conversation and then come back. I don't know if that's going to be fruitful. I hope that it would be. But I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on that. Like, we're gonna be here again next week anyway, if we wanted to table it for that conversation, but that would have to be a pretty successful conversation, right?
I would also be willing to table it for this week, given Mr. Bell's speaking to us today and giving him an opportunity to discuss it again. If there is an alternate plan, Mr. Bell, I might actually put it into some type of almost contractual form that this is going to happen. And maybe we could actually have a timeline.
I'm sorry?
If you had an alternate plan to reroute the trucks to Wagner Road, it would give you an opportunity to do that, but have it on a timeline so we actually knew that you were going to do it by a certain date, etc.
Gotcha.
You know, all that above and above what the, you know. So you talk to everyone who you need to speak with to, you know, discuss that with. So.
I would be in favor of tabling it and hearing what the proposal may be to, as a good alternative. I think that would be a very positive thing. I know in this last couple of weeks, I've contacted several of the business owners on Lincoln just to get their direct input. Talked with Jackie at the bank. She was kind of neutral. She didn't see it as a pro or a con as far as their impact on the customers of the bank. Spoke with the owner of Charlie, the owner of the Village, and he indicated that his daughters are the main people managing the operations, and they wanted to see the trucks removed from the road. And then the law firm and some of the others had more of a neutral stance. They didn't see it necessarily as a nuisance. They understood, you know, if you're going to have other development and everything, it makes sense maybe to not have them there. So that was all good input. But if we have a viable alternative like that, and we can put some timeframes to it, whatever that looks like, that sounds like a reasonable thing to approach. That's my thought.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'll entertain a motion to table it till the next meeting, which is next Tuesday.
I just have one question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One of the questions I have is about the school. Now, did the new start time with the school and the buses affect your routes and the timing that you have?
Our trucks generally are leaving well before they even are. Yeah.
Getting
Our
dropped
trucks,
off.
My trucks are generally leaving before 7 o'clock. You know, we start at 6 o'clock every day.
Okay.
There's-
And dismissal as well.
That I can't guarantee that because, you know, slow days, we're in before 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It might be at 2 o'clock when the school's
Okay.
getting relieved, but I'll say this, again, when we train a driver or hire a driver,
Mm-hmm.
we emphasize the school, we emphasize the
Yeah.
whole town.
that, hey, this is our neighborhood.
I just didn't wanna forget, that's one of
No,
our
we
main
have- I'll
concerns
say
here is
this,
the
we're
school.
Babe's Corner there,
Mm-hmm.
Wave to Babe, and I think it's Mr. Rowe right now that's out there every day,
Yeah.
am I right?
Yes.
He waves to us all, we make complete stops, we let the kids go by, you know.
Okay. I just didn't wanna forget our Yosti Toasties.
Hey, I'll be Yosti,
Mm-hmm.
for sure,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
Right, motion to table?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor of approval of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, from the motion of the ordinance 2026-11 is tabled, we'll put on old business for our meeting next week on the 25th. Move on to Shared Ethics Advisory Commission membership. Mr. Bellamy is going to
Yes,
speak.
good evening. I'm Cal Bellamy, and this is my colleague, Neil Stout. He represents the town of Burns Harbor. Every community that belongs to the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission has its own commissioner, private citizen. Before I describe what the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission does, I want to just say a word about ethics. You know what? People ask us sometimes, what is ethics? And of course, I can give a very quick answer, doing the right thing in the right way at the right time. But that isn't very helpful. You know, it's like putting a new employee in front of a complicated machine and telling him to operate it safely. That he wants to do it safely, and he'll do it the best he can. But if he has training, he's even better, more likely to be safe. And so that's where the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission comes in. We help municipal employees understand the specifics of ethics or the ethics challenges in their specific work environment. Neil, could you give the council a copy of the packet? I don't know how much time you want me to take on this, but if you open that packet and look at the right side, the 8.5 by 11 sheet, that gives an overview of what the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission does. And I want to emphasize, we're all volunteers. There are no salaries, no expense accounts, no cars, no pensions. We're all just volunteers. The main thing that we're supposed to do in our interlocal agreement, and if the town of Porter would decide to join, we would ask you to sign our interlocal agreement, and I can provide the documentation to your attorney if you make that decision. But the main thing we do is organize training for every single municipal employee in our member communities. Now, we don't do the training ourselves. We ask you to designate an employee or two, and then we train them on how to conduct ethics training using our materials. So that's the main thing we do. But we also, every other year, have training, specific training for boards and commissions. And that training, we bring in a professional trainer. And the point there, the main point, is conflicts of interest. Then the alternate year, we have department head training. And there, again, we bring in a professional trainer. And the focus of that is to emphasize the leadership responsibilities that each department head has in ensuring an ethical environment. The fourth thing we do is we have an annual ethics summit, and this year it's coming up in October 27th. This year, the keynote speaker is going to be the Chief Judge of the Indiana Court of Appeals. And then the next half of the summit is case studies that we ask the whole audience to examine to find the ethical issues. The final thing we do, and you may be familiar with this, we ask every candidate for town, city, county positions to sign the Candidates Ethics Action Pledge. And what we do, what that pledge is not just a pledge to join the commission, but to provide some kind of ethics training and strong whistleblower protection. So those are the 5 things we do. We have 23 members. A 24th member is pending, and they're listed at the bottom there of that first page. The second page, which I think you've already talked about, is the cost of belonging to the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission, or we call it SEAC. It's a little easier to say. It's based on the number of full-time employees that you certify to the state in January. I don't know if this form is still called this, but it used to be anyway, Form 100R. So however many you list there is what we base the charge on. And then if you go to the third page, this is the steps for joining. The council would need to adopt the interlocal agreement, would need to by resolution, approve our Code of Shared Ethics and Values, a copy of which is on the left side of your packet. And that's an aspirational code. It does not change any of your personnel procedures. But it is important because the code is what our training flows from. So this makes the complete package. And then, of course, pay the fees. And then to administer it, we ask our member communities to designate a private citizen to serve on the commission. And hearing from how the community responded to this recent storm, and it seems like you have a good volunteer spirit here. So I hope you would be able, if you join, to find someone to serve on this commission. We only meet 6 times a year, and so far it's since COVID, it's all been Zoom. And then a public official, either the clerk treasurer or one of the council members, is asked to serve on the board of delegates. The board of delegates meets 2 or 3 times a year, and what they do is approve our budget and set the fees. So that is not a burdensome thing, but it's an important piece of our action. And then the rest of that packet, the 4 or 5 sheets you have, just describe who we look for as a member of the commission and what I said about who would be members of the board of delegates. Neil and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have. We think our member communities and their employees benefit greatly from participating in this program. We've been at it now for 20 years. So we have a few battle scars, but all these materials that are in that packet have evolved over the period of these 20 years. Neil, is there anything?
I would like to add one point, and that is that belonging to SEAC relieves you of the burden of developing your own training and developing your own training materials. That all comes as part of the package. It's a professionally developed, web-based program that your trainer would deliver to your employees. And that's a tremendous package, and it's well, I shouldn't say continually, periodically updated. So it's really well done. Good resource.
Well,
Any other questions or comments or concerns?
I do have one comment. I have to say that I very much appreciate the way your administrative body is organized, including private citizens to represent each of your community members and designating a public official to serve on the joint board of delegates. Means you walk the walk. So I appreciate that about you guys very much.
We thought when we formed the commission that when it came to appropriations or our finances, it ought to be public officials who are making those decisions. And the rest of us, the volunteers, can do the training and the planning and so forth, but finances, we thought, should be under the control of people who respond to the voters.
I appreciate that. I believe I heard you say that the membership enrollment fee is based on full-time employees reported in January. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Full-time only, so it does not include the part-timers, the seasonal part-time help.
Not part-time help, not board
So
and
that would put us
commission
at the
members or.
$500 tier instead of the 1,500, which is a significant difference. So I appreciate having that answer.
We have a very tight budget, as you can see.
And if I can be, I'll just be frank, right? I personally, I love what you have to offer. I'm trying to weigh what you have to offer compared to contracts that we already have and services that we already pay for. We have a contract with the human resources provider that does a portion of what you have to offer. We pay membership to AIM, and they also offer a portion of what you offer. We encourage and reimburse our board members to participate in educational opportunities through Purdue Extensions, right? And that's a couple $100 per board member as they come on to serve new terms, any of them that want to repeat. And that covers ethics very thoroughly, which I personally benefited from years ago, and I love that program. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with all of those programs or not, but what I would want to do is weigh what you have to offer compared to what we're already paying for and using. But seeing that the cost is 1/3 of what I thought it was 2 weeks ago, that's going to be a little bit easier for me to swallow this time.
Very nominal cost. And I am aware of these other programs, and we've approached AIM, asking them to increase the ethics portion of their training.
Yeah.
And we do not feel they do enough.
Yeah.
And the difference with what we're doing is that we ask your own employees to become sufficiently engaged in ethics to become a trainer, and then communicate the depth of that kind of commitment to everybody that he or she works with. So it's a local, hands-on type experience. And we believe, in our experience indicates that this is the most effective type of training. And it's something that's not once and done. We ask at least every other year that the trainer you might designate conduct this session. As Neil said, it's partially online, partially in person, and it's emphasizes dialogue with the individual worker in your workplace. And I don't think any of those other programs provide that kind of intimate or personal
You are correct.
contact.
They do not. You're correct. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a program you can apply to the federal government?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a program you can apply to the federal government?
Oh, you know, I shouldn't digress, but when we were forming the Shared Ethics Commission, we were trying to think how to do it. And at first we thought, well, we just come up with a pledge that every community would sign. And so we had a meeting, and somebody came with some language, and it was beautiful language. And so I said to the fellow who came with it, I said, I didn't know you could write that well. And he said, oh, well, this is what the U.S. House of Representatives does. So we decided after that just having a pledge wouldn't be any good. Now, we realize that what we do does not complete the circles, because training is the first step for establishing expectations of what your employees are expected to live up to. So no one can say they haven't been told. But of course, that still depends on your internal processes. And this is why I'm glad your HR function is getting training too, because then if there is an ethics issue that comes up, that will have to be resolved here in your community. We do not do any kind of adjudication. We're just into training. Okay?
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay. If you decide to join, let me know, and I will provide your attorney with the appropriate documentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say something. Do we want to make a decision on this?
Personally, I want to say that was lovely. Let's take some time to think about it and get through this agenda. That's what I,
I
want to
agree.
do.
I would like to go through the material.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll table it for now.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to table it, please. Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor of the approval of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Move on to new business. Real quick. The Environmental Sustainability Commission grant application request. Jennifer Dimitrov reached out to me about it. And it was the time, now that it turned into be, would have been before our regularly scheduled meeting, but because our meeting got moved, it didn't get addressed, and she needed to put the application in by the 15th, so it's something that we're backpedaling on.
The application was due last
Last
Saturday?
Friday,
15th. was-
14th or 15th, yeah, it was
14th.
due.
So it was due,
What she was looking for was it's for the Audubon Society through the, I don't have it written down here, but it was for a grant application, mostly for an educational program that has to do with the approximately 1 billion birds are lost annually to light pollution and building strikes. As a gateway to the Indiana Dunes and home to the major migratory path along the shoreline of Lake Michigan, it's our responsibility to educate and encourage residents to do what is within their power to protect the birds. So it's mostly an educational part. They were looking for money. She had a breakdown on it, some yard signs, some direct mailing postcards. They were gonna have a speaker for a seminar to speak and some seminar giveaways and stuff. They were looking to receive $2,500 through the,
so did they apply for the grant?
for the grant, yep.
So they did apply for it, okay. So because you approved it because you have emergency powers, so you approved that, she applied for the grant, they applied for the grant. But did they get notice yet, a response if they won the award?
We don't know anything yet, no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So postally, I was gonna ask for permission to allow them to apply for the grant.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion to, I don't know what the verb is that I'm looking for, not reinforce, but support, your decision to approve the grant application.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the right verb.
Give me a verb, lawyer. No, sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Affirm, to affirm.
Affirm.
There we go.
I think
We'll go with that.
there you go.
I motion we affirm Bill's decision to approve the grant application for the Audubon
I'll second.
Educational program through the ESC.
through the EAS. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Any questions for Jack?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next is ordinance 2026-12, amending and restarting Chapter 2, Article 7 of the Portertown Code regarding public records fees, commercial use restrictions, and compliance with House Enrolled Act 1360, first read. I'm gonna ask Corinne to
Sure, yes. This
elaborate a
was,
little bit on this.
yep, this was my request, so this cleans up our part of our town code that addresses public records fees. House Enrolled Act 1360 went into effect July 1st. If you read the draft, it explains pretty much what it does. So this is just bringing our ordinance into compliance. One of the other main things it does is updates our fees. So if we have a requester that is out of state, we can charge up to $25 per hour for staff labor time to search, compile, review, redact, and process those requests. Let's see. This also allows for us to prioritize records requests from Indiana residents over out-of-state requests. I'm happy to entertain any questions about it, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
All right, I look for a motion to move forward with the second reading on August 25th at our meeting in action.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor of approval of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Go down for a second reading at our next meeting, Corinne. Thank you. Let's- Next on the agenda is ordinance 2026-13, ordinance of the town of Porter, Indiana, amending salary ordinance 2025-12, fixing compensation for town employees, officers, and officials for the year of 2026. This amends a couple of salary rates in there, and also it helps establish the position that'll be moving forward for the clerk records manager for the police department. Is there anything else we need to elaborate on that one, Corinne? I think we're good. Any questions on it? I look for a motion to have a second reading on Article 2026-13.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, put that down for a second reading in action at our August 25th meeting. We're down to Park Department equipment purchase. Brian, you're up.
All right, so, after last meeting, sent out, requests for, quotes to 3 dealerships, Team Chevy of Valpo, Graf Chevy of Burns Harbor, and Chevy of Maryville. Heard back from 2 of them, and, our low and most responsive, quoter, was Team Chevy of Valparaiso, for a 2026 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD work truck, which is what we currently have, but this also has an extended bed, or I'm sorry, an extended cab and a floor. So, their low quote was $48,952.72, and I would be looking for approval to go ahead and order that truck and have that paid for out of the proceeds from the 2026 general obligation bond.
All right, Brian, yeah, I'm sorry, again, you said 48.
$48,952.72.
Okay. And then the question I had is that totally outfitted or is
That is not. That is the
Okay.
base truck with an upfitted chassis for plowing,
right?
and I'd be going out. I wanted to make sure we got the truck first before we went out and got quotes for plow and lift.
And the lift gate. Okay, so we'll do that at separately.
I'll do that separately. Yes.
And will one vendor be able to provide a quote for both those, or you have to? go
No,
separate
I
times?
probably would have to get 2. I've been in talks with the guys from Public Works about who they use for their plow outfitting, and they've got a company that does a very good job for a very good price. So
The lift gate, we've got one on our 2024 F-250, and it's Tommy Gate. I've got all that Tommy Gate.
That's the most
There's-
common brand.
There's one installer in South Bend, and there's one south about an hour and a half south. So we used the guy in South Bend. It was a Kenworth dealer. And we got it in 24. It was like $5,500. So it's probably a little more than that, but I'll give that all to Brian. He can get that figured out.
I don't anticipate, either of them being more than $10,000
No.
each.
Mm.
So.
Right, so it-
The gate's less than 10,000 and the
So
plow.
an additional, less than 20,000.
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. I'm fine with that. All right,
Which would fall under budget, for what we originally budgeted, so.
all right. I look for approval, for Brian for the 48,952.72 to purchase the truck.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Any questions?
I'm so excited for them. I really
Hearing
am.
none questions, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Brian, you got a truck, now you just gotta,
Thank you very much. I will go through the process and get purchase order and get ready to go. Thank you.
thank you. As we approved to add to our new business, resolution number 2026-04, the Town of Porter, Indiana resolution authorizing the extension of the declaration of the local disaster emergency. This will just continue the declaration until our next meeting. Is that what it is, Corinne? Till the 25th for one more week.
Yeah, I believe
At
it's
that time, we'll see whether we need to continue to extend it again or not and vote on it again, whether we extend it or not. Look for a motion to approve resolution 2026-04.
Yes, sir, I do.
I was like,
Any questions regarding the resolution? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you, Corinne. Put that down for a review again on our next meeting. That's all we have under new business. Council comments. I'll open it up to the council members.
I have two. Heavy is the crown, man. Thank you, Bill, so much. I know that this has been a big week for hard decisions. I thank you for doing that job, man. And I also am so sorry, Jack. When I get tongue-tied, I try to make jokes because I think I'm funny, and this time I was just rude. So I'm sorry, man.
No,
No offense taken
That's
at all.
Thanks.
thank you, Laura.
Thanks,
Jim?
Laura.
I have a couple things. One, in discussing the truck situation on Lincoln and talking to the business owners along there seemed to be a willingness to address the area between Lincoln Street and the railroad of trying to do something landscape-wise to beautify that and improve it. It sounded like some of the businesses may be even willing to help, financially to help make that happen. And those type of projects probably start best, just like we did with the signage thing, with the initial meeting to have discussion. We know we'd have to involve the railroad. Absolutely, they would have to be a part of that discussion. That's already been discussed. But if the council's willing to entertain that, or at least to have an initial meeting that we can host, maybe here at the conference room, for the business owners, any interested citizens, anybody, department heads, council members that may have an interest in participating in that discussion, let me know and we'll try to get a date on the calendar.
I think that's a great idea. I think that'd make a big improvement in our downtown area as far as attractiveness. But
And shout out to Jackie, president of Porter Bank. She was the one that helped initiate that discussion. So,
Nice.
Our feedbacks.
okay, I'll move forward and see if we can get a date facilitated and let everybody know. Hopefully by next week. Yeah. Couple other things. One with both of them related to the storm. Since we don't have the Chesterton Trib anymore, we do have the Savvy Citizen, which is perfect. But we're finding with these storms, as soon as the power goes out, we lose internet. So people then lose accessibility to Savvy Citizen. Do we have anything that we can think of that we might be able to help just to aid in communication for citizens if there's something major, if something develops out of those emergency situations or you have to get the word out? Have we thought about how do you do that when we can't do it electronically? Is this kind of a question? I'm looking for an answer, just
Yeah.
something to think about how we might
If
do
you
that.
signed up for text, it still texts you.
As
Okay.
long as you have cell service.
So I
as you have
get
cell
the
service.
text and the emails, but you still get the text even if the internet's out.
Okay.
So we do have it, and we were up this morning. We're at 289. It went way up the last week. So.
And that can help let people know on that too. I know during the storm, I had intermittent texting
Yes.
and intermittent
Yeah.
cell, I suppose, because
Verizon-
everybody went to that,
Verizon
the
didn't
towers
do
got
well.
overwhelmed, I think, but, okay. Then the last thing I had was, we talked about it last meeting, I think, about the, how do you handle when the lights go out, the stoplights go out? And we talked about how if we try to put up a four-way stop or something, that then liability shifts to us, and there's reasons why we're not supposed to do that. And I've conveyed that to people who had expressed concerns. With this storm, there were multiple accidents, I believe, at Waverly and 20. And I've gotten an earful from both business owners and folks that are like, why isn't there a four-way? And I explain our discussion, and they get angry and were actually shouting back because they were traveling through Portage, Burns Harbor, Michigan City, and they had four-way signs in their intersections. So I don't know if that means they just decided to take on that liability, or if there's something else we're missing.
The state will do that after 24 hours, but they don't always.
Yeah, because I told them that, and they reached out to NDOT, and nothing happened. And then, so I kept getting ears full. So if there's anything, anybody has any
Who do we
ideas?
have that would reach out to NDOT for us?
What's that?
Who would be in charge of reaching out to NDOT for us?
We could always call them, but it's probably somebody in charge of the whole state that makes a statewide decision. They don't, do them locally, so.
Right.
Maybe a politician, if anybody's, chummy with them, could tell us the right person to talk to who developed that policy. Or maybe it was their attorneys that told them that policy. I don't know where it came from, but I'm sure it's a statewide policy, not, our local director saying, don't do that.
Yeah, because folks are saying, I guess Chesterton didn't either. We're both of our towns, but it seems like everybody else around it was. I didn't see it myself. I wasn't out there, but that's what people were telling me. So anyway, I just wanted to, if there's anything we could do.
Yeah,
in
no,
that,
it's
'cause,
something to
man,
look
it's-
into to try to get a little better
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
too, sure.
That's
And I
frustrating.
know a couple days later, there was one up on 149 at 20.
149 and 20 is the
Yeah.
only one that I personally noticed that happened to be absolutely an NDOT intersection. Now, intersections that aren't owned by NDOT, I think most residents that are concerned about that issue aren't paying close attention to who owns the road, right? They just want to see busy intersections safer, and I don't blame them for that.
Exactly.
But
Right.
I'm pretty sure that most of those four ways that were put out were not on
Were not,
NDOT
no.
intersections. With that exception, of course, I noticed that one. But
Well,
NDOT
that
puts
is
that
an
out. It is. But NDOT put that out.
Yes.
Exactly. And so
And perhaps
maybe
because of that.
coordinating with our state reps / senators to get on NDOT's list for those intersections is what we need to work on now for the next time.
And what I like to tell people is the squeaky wheel gets
Yeah.
the oil. And like the trees with NIPSCO, they call and they say, we don't have power and, just come move it. And we tell them, OSHA won't let us. If it could be backfed, it could, and we had one at the lift station that got hit by the tree where they came out, NIPSCO did, and said, turn the power off. Our guys went up to the box, we're looking around, seeing what was damaged. The NIPSCO tree guy came, he goes, I'm gonna cut that tree off there. So our guys started leaving, walking up the hill. The first limb he cut off that tree, it hit the ground and there was a big boom and flash and the wire was not dead and our guys were walking around it. So that little incident cured our guys from wanting to move any trees
Yeah.
wrapped in wire because, some of the younger ones didn't understand and we told them, that's a big fine for us if we do that and we're not doing it, even though 99% it doesn't have. And then I learned that I didn't know transformers can hold voltage even with no power and you
For a
don't
while.
know when it's gonna let loose. So the people I reiterate over and over, it's like we called them, we had the police call them, you call them, and if they keep getting phone calls, the squeaky wheels got a better chance than somebody that doesn't. And that's why the police did such a good job getting all that information to NIPSCO so they knew what they were dealing with and where it was at before they even came out. So, that was a big plus. But I reiterate to the people, we we're complaining about it, you need to complain about it, and, you know, maybe they'll change something, but
Yeah.
they generally wait 24 hours till they'll even think about putting it out.
And I don't wanna defend the state at all, but we were not the worst hit area. They also have flooding down south in the south part of the state.
Well, yeah, they have
So-
they have a catastrophic event going on down there. I mean,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, that's a fair point to bring up, Don.
To Jamie's point about the squeaky wheel, after we were texting about a tree, and the three people that I told to contact NIPSCO, after you guys did, they did, the three people that I said, please contact NIPSCO, every single one of those, within 2 hours, there was a locate for the tree. So the squeaky wheel works, especially the residents call.
Yeah.
So it actually was interesting to see that. 'Cause they really quickly got online, and I had one lady call me back and she said, somebody actually answered the phone. And it was a person, and then within an hour, they had a locate for that was Birch Street, the tree on Birch Street. And these guys called about it, and I'm sure you guys called
Yeah,
about it. and nothing
everybody
happened.
called about it. We called about it several days.
So
'cause-
when the residents contacted
Mm-hmm.
NIPSCO, they seemed to respond faster.
And we kind of prioritized calling about that one because it's the only
Yeah.
street we had where the residents were actually blocked from their houses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was just an inconvenience, a tree in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Kelly, you got a comment?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Local 81 one more time for answering the call. I contacted them over the weekend. They came out as soon as they could. They were amazing. I'd like to thank all of our department heads and all of our employees. They are our most valuable assets and they have worked their butts off. Public Works nonstop. I'm so grateful. Thank you to you. And Corinne. I think Corinne was working really hard to keep Savvy Citizens going and trying to see what she could do with all the department heads, so.
Yeah, she was being the public works director with the phones and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
cause we didn't have phones or internet for
Yeah.
most of that period, and that's frustrating for people too,
Yeah,
when they can't get a hold of you. I would get emails on my phone every once in a while, but when I tried to open, it would just give me an error. So, you know, it was quite frustrating.
and to our police department who had the hookup at NIPSCO, I'm very grateful, so thank you. And the bright idea to start marking pools.
If I could just add, because we've, recognized everyone in the room for all the hard work, but USW Local 12775 right here in town, they have been absolutely phenomenal
Yes.
to work with directly. Those guys are amazing, and NIPSCO has almost 300 outside contractors here, so I know those guys are working their tails off trying to get people in the right direction. So to the Union Hall, I think they deserve a little recognition. Thanks.
For sure.
Thanks for mentioning it.
agree.
Thank you.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Dad, you guys got anything you want to say? Good.
I would only add that, I've just been amazed at our town's response to this, really. Yeah, I can't say enough.
Yeah, I just want to say this is something the town's never seen in its history.
Yeah.
And, it's been pretty nerve-wracking for me, but with the help of Kelly and Corinne and that, we got through it with everybody. I like to, there's a lot of people to thank, and when you see the devastation, I was really surprised when our power came back on. NIPSCO did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still people without power, but I didn't think we'd have power for another week or so. When you've seen all the poles chopped off and everything. But everybody stepped up, and I can't say enough to just thank everybody.
I agree. I wouldn't want to go through an emergency without everybody that's here, honestly. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. But yeah, I could go on and on with everybody, like you said, from our local restaurants that helped out to people bringing food to the police department, fire department, public works and stuff. It's just everybody kind of stepped up, did what they could do. So it's good to see that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
With that, I look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Meeting adjourned.
Now that we're adjourned, you want to hear